Hello, I'm Miss Roxon, and you're just in time for a story. The Ox Cart Man, written by Donald Hall. In October, he backed his ox into his cart, and he and his family filled it up with everything that they made or grew all year long that was left over. He packed a bag of wool he sheared from the sheep in April. He packed a shawl that his wife wove on a loom from yarn spun the spinning wheel from the sheep that were sheared in April. He packed 5 pairs of mittens. His daughter knit from yarn spun the spinning wheel from the sheep sheared in April. He packed candles that the family had made. He packed linen made from flax that they grew. He packed shingles that he had split himself. And he packed birch brooms that his son carved with a borrowed kitchen knife. He packed potatoes that they dug from their garden. But first, he counted out potatoes enough to eat for all the winter, and potatoes for seed next spring. He packed a barrel of apples, honey and honeycombs, turnips and cabbages, a wooden box of maple sugar from the maples that they had tapped in March when they boiled and boiled and boiled the sap away. He packed a bag of goose feathers that his children had collected from the barnyard geese. When his cart was full, he waved goodbye to his wife, his daughter, and his son, and he walked at his ox's head for 10 days, over hills, through valleys, and by streams, past farms and villages, until he came to Portsmouth and Portsmouth Market. He sold the bag of wool. He sold the shawl that his wife made. He sold 5 pairs of mittens. He sold candles and shingles, and he sold birch brooms. He sold potatoes, and he sold apples, and he sold honey and honeycombs, turnips and cabbages. He sold maple sugar. He sold a bag of goose feathers, and then he sold the wooden box he carried the maple sugar in. And then he sold the barrel he carried the apples in. And then he sold the very bag that he carried the potatoes in. Then he sold the ox cart. And then he sold his ox. He kissed him goodbye on the nose. And then he sold the ox's yoke and harness. And with his pockets full of coins, he walked through Portsmouth Market. He walked and he walked, and he bought an iron kettle to hang over the fire at home. And for his daughter, he bought an embroidery needle that came from a boat in the harbor that had sailed all the way from England. And for his son, he bought a Barlow knife for carving birch brooms with. And for the whole family, he bought 2 pounds of wintergreen peppermint candies. Then he walked home with the needle and the knife and the wintergreen peppermint candies tucked into the kettle, and a stick over his shoulder he stuck through the kettle's handle, and coins still in his pocket, past farms and villages, over hills and through valleys, by streams, all the way until he came to his farm. And his son and his daughter and his wife, they were waiting for him, and his daughter took her needle and began stitching, and her son took his barlow knife and he started to whittle with it, and they cooked dinner in their new kettle. And afterward, everyone ate wintergreen peppermint candy. That night, the ox cart man sat in front of his fire, stitching new harnesses